So Eric, we got to talk about your boy Terry Taylor. He's going to quit WCW before Nitro on January 18th, and he's going to take a job working for Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara in scripting the television shows for the World Wrestling Federation. He was at his job the very next day, the 19th. And I guess he was working here with you without a contract. And maybe that's how it was all made possible. It's written here that Taylor was one of those unfortunate types caught in the middle, having to make sense out of all the egos, vetoing everything, and then taking the heat because the shows didn't make any sense. And he had at time been Bischoff's whipping boy. This is the
Who
report.
wrote that?
Well, want to guess? I mean, Terry Taylor was clearly on the phone with Dave Meltzer all the time, to the point where Meltzer even said this. Apparently the departure of Terry Taylor went something like this. Bischoff jumped Taylor about rumors he was going to the WWF and told him if he wasn't happy in WCW to just leave. Taylor talked about being under the pressure with his father having health problems, and Bischoff offered him time off without pay. The next day, he made the deal with McMahon. Gee, I wonder how Dave got all those specific details. Makes you wonder, doesn't it, Eric? Talk to me about this with Taylor. What happened?
I had such a strange relationship with Terry Taylor because I liked him personally.
I hear the but.
Well, it was a complicated relationship.
Okay.
I did enjoy being around Terry, even professionally, because Terry Taylor had a great feel for producing matches. Terry was great at that. Terry understood psychology really well. So I enjoyed and respected his abilities in that regard. But Terry brought with him certain characteristics, personality traits that I didn't appreciate. Terry didn't always conduct himself professionally. WCW. These relationships within the industry sometimes created a conflict of interest and opened WCW up to potential litigation. Without going into specifics.
I'm fixing to say, you got your tap shoes on today, boy.
Well, out of respect. Terry and
I
have subsequently had a conversation, and it was, but it was a problem. Did I know that Terry was in communication, or did I believe, I should say, that Terry was in communication with Meltzer? Had I known for a fact, had I caught him red-handed, I would have absolutely let him go on the spot in a very public and uncomfortable way. Because to me, that's just such a sign of disrespect and disloyalty and all the things that I just detest in a human being. I couldn't prove it, but I knew it, as did a lot of other people. And it had just gotten to the point with Terry at this time that I didn't really care whether he stayed or not. I didn't. I mean, had he stayed, did Terry provide some asset value because of some of the perspectives that he brought into it, to a creative conversation? Yes. Was it worth some of the other issues and challenges that Terry brought to the table as well? Absolutely not. And I did not care one way or the other whether Terry stayed or left. In reality, I should have cut him loose a long time for this because I just didn't have that feeling, that sense of confidence that he was loyal to WCW, that he wouldn't be out using useful idiots the same way so many people have used, and we're seeing it now, by the way. This just isn't me taking an opportunity to random shot at Dave Meltzer. But if you look at what's happening now with Dave Meltzer and how the internet now, social media, is just calling him out on his bullshit, it is a beautiful thing for me to see, because for so long, Dave Meltzer would have the opportunity to have a relationship with someone like Terry Taylor, who during that period of time, Dave would Terry Taylor would use Dave Meltzer to plant the narrative that Terry Taylor would want in order to help Terry Taylor, in Terry's mind, achieve whatever it is Terry was trying to achieve. He used Dave Meltzer by feeding Meltzer information that was either bullshit, a complete lie, or distorted so much that it might as well be. But it seemed useful to Terry Taylor to have that relationship with Meltzer, much like other people still do today. Do I think that Dave Meltzer has some contacts within WWE or obviously in AEW? Absolutely, I do. What I do believe, though, is those people are using Meltzer because they know he's so easy to use to manipulate the internet wrestling audience. Terry Taylor did it back then, and I was happy to see him leave, actually, in many respects. And I think it's still happening to this day. Do I think that Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer have conversations?
Of course
I absolutely
they do.
do.
Yeah, they acknowledge.
Do I think there are people in WWE that do? There are some that are suggesting that he has a conversation with Rock. I don't know whether he does or not.
Come on.
I do. What I do know is whatever relationships he had are helping to make Dave Meltzer look like a complete idiot. That I do.
Meltzer did not have the best week this past week. But come on, man. I mean, listen, in your opinion, back in the day, talking to Meltzer was a fireable offense.
Had I been able to prove it, not just talking to him, but sharing information, proprietary information, you're fucking right. I would.
You think Ari Emanuel's going to fire Rock when he finds out that Rock's been on the horn with Dave Meltzer?
Not if Rock's using Dave Meltzer like the useful idiot that he is. That's just an asset.
I just think
now you're using somebody to manipulate the wrestling audience and create chatter and buzz. That I do believe is happening. I think Dave is a tool.
Well, I'm not going to call him a tool. I understand the way you used it, what you mean there, but boy, it has never been more apparent to me. And it just sort of, when I read the things I read, it just sort of makes me. I mean, I turned to Megan about a week ago and said, "Can you believe The Rock talks to Dave Meltzer?" Because, she's not plugged into wrestling, but she knows who those two folks are. And she's like, "What?" But it happens. And anybody who denies that doesn't really read what's going on.
But the important thing is, if they do talk, and I suggest they may. I don't know, neither do you, but
come on,
we certainly feel like it, right?
Come on, yeah.
Meltzer's being used. He is a tool not like a tool like an asshole, but he's a tool like a fucking wrench. He's just a tool to manipulate the audience. The part that's funny to me is that Dave thinks that these people actually respect him and counsel with him for advice or direction or casual conversation. That doesn't happen. But do people pick up the phone and manipulate him for their own purposes, much like Terry Taylor did, much like many other people did? Abso-fucking-lutely. And, hats off to Dave. He's been able to figure out a way to make a living by being used as a tool, putting it out there and getting people to pay for it. But that's the beauty right now of what we're seeing on social media is people are starting to call him out on his bullshit. And he freaks the fuck out. He probably has his list of people that he's blocked probably exceeds the following that he has. Because the minute you criticize him, he blocks you.
Can you imagine?
And it's become a badge of honor on social media. People start bragging about getting blocked by Dave Meltzer. Awesome.
It's interesting to me that, because we've seen a lot of criticism when like AEW or WWE does a press conference and they get softball questions. Can you imagine in private when one of these folks gets a call from The Rock? It's really Dwayne Johnson. They have it programmed in their phone as The Rock, and oh my God, a movie star. Heck of a way to channel some information. Heck of a way.